Welcome back to another episode of Marketing 100, where we're leading you through 100 ways that you can grow your business. Today is very special. We're here with Stephanie Mitchell, who is the advertising coach for spa and beauty and hair professionals. Super excited to explore ads and how to run ads to attract clients. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, I highly recommend you go back where we talk about the offer, the video, the captions you should have in your ad. But there is something more in this formula in order for your ads to be effective. What are we talking about today, Stephanie?
Yeah, we're talking about the part that most people overlook, and that is how to actually turn leads into buyers and clients. So you've got all these leads who have said, yeah, I'm interested. I want to book an appointment. I want to get that Glow Getter package, for example. The part that most people completely ignore is like, what happens next? That's where most people actually end up losing the sale and the booking because they don't know how to sell. And that's the thing. There's so much education about marketing, but not that much education about sales, because sales is more a one-on-one thing. You've got to do a little bit of consulting, and then you have to know the right words to say at the right time to hook this person and get them to actually press the book an appointment button, or maybe even leave a deposit.
Stephanie, tell us a little bit more about this. Like, what are the ways that we can really drive it home when it comes to our ads?
9 times out of 10, before someone books with a business that they've never heard of before, they want to talk with someone. They want to feel a level of trust that you can't get just from going to a booking app. My experience says when you're dealing with brick and mortar beauty businesses, send them to the messaging. So send them to Instagram DMs or Facebook Messenger. And the conversations that you have there will make or break your ad campaign. First of all, when you send people over to Messenger, you can actually, in the ads manager, set up a welcome message. But we want to make it uber personal, uber friendly. Like, we want to go overboard because everybody's so used to these instant replies that we need to essentially make it seem like there's a real person on the other side, even though it is an automated reply. Be warmer and friendlier than you think that you need to be. You could say something like, I love meeting new clients, and I know you've probably got questions if this is your first time getting, for example, dermaplaning. Just let me know if you'd like to know anything about the process, the aftercare, the results, or anything else. You're saying why, they're going to love this. You're talking about maybe if you don't even realize that you have any questions, but you're giving them ideas for what they could ask questions about. So that would be one suggestion. Next, if they say, hey, I'm ready to book, when you're dealing with someone who already isn't really sure if this is the right service for them, who has a lot of questions, who's a little bit skeptical, who's never met you, sending them right to your booking app and giving them all of those options could be a little bit overwhelming. Sometimes when we make it simpler and we give them fewer options, it's actually better because putting limitations on them almost gives them more of a chance to actually make a decision. Or, if they seem like they're more experienced, like they've maybe had this service before, they don't seem super skeptical, you can send people the link just for that service, not for all your services. If they message you about your special offer, it's not really about the money. It's really about whether they think that you're worth the money. And in order for them to change their mindset about whether you're worth it or not, they need more information. So by giving them extra pieces of information, they can look at more videos of your clients' before and after results. They can go to your website and read more about this instead of just saying like, okay, if that's too expensive, not a problem, give them more information. Another one is following up.
God, so many people drop the ball here. Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is not follow up. But the second worst thing that you can do is just send one of those ping messages like, oh, just following up. It's like scrolling through your DMs and being like, who haven't I heard from in a while? Like, I'm kind of slow, or like, wasn't that girl supposed to book with me, but then she didn't? Let me follow up with her. Nothing's really changed in this situation. So it's likely that their mind hasn't really changed either about whether they're ready to book with you or not. So give them more. Like, anytime you follow up with someone, give them more context, more information. You could send them something like, hey, I know you said that you wanted to book a spray tan. I actually just created a guide about spray tans for new clients who have never had a spray tan for their wedding before. Check it out. Here's the link. Let me know what you think and if you want to book with me. So anytime you follow up, give them new information. I had one of my clients that I worked one-to-one with. She did microblading. She created in Canva at my request a microblading guide. And every single person who had messaged her in the past 2 weeks, I think, but never ended up booking, she sent that guide to every single one of them and she booked 3 additional appointments. So she made $1,500 just by creating a guide and sending it to people. So she had kind of like an excuse to follow up with them. There's lots of things that you can say to kind of like create really great conversations. Asking questions is another one, like asking the right questions to people so that you can recommend the right services to them, even if it's not necessarily the original service that you were advertising. How to follow up with people, how to help them choose an appointment time. There's lots of different aspects of selling that you can infuse into your conversation so that you have a system that actually works to convert those leads into bookings.
And I feel like this is kind of like a muscle too, right? Like this is one of those things you'll get better at over time. Like you'll understand what works and what people need to hear. I always talk about this, but like my background in education and psychology was the best marketing training I could have ever gotten because it helped me understand how to talk to people or like how to like keep them in a conversation where they're a part of it. And I feel like it's sort of the same way here where like you'll learn what people like want to talk about or want to hear or are interested in or like what makes them feel confident or comfortable with you. So if this is something that scares you, good. Try it. Nothing about this has to be like a big sales pitch. It's just kind of about opening that door, giving people a reason to talk to you. And then once they do, giving them a reason to come see you. And I think if you boil it down to that and you think of it in those terms, it's a little bit less scary.
I'm not the best salesperson in the world and I hate following up with people. But when I have a system that I can follow and like scripts in place, it makes it so much easier. Create some really good scripts for questions to ask people, responses, like save your responses either in your Instagram DMs, you can save replies, or just in like a Google Doc, save all those responses so that you've got a system in place. And also make your messages really interactive. If you feel like someone's very close to booking with you, but they're not quite sure, follow up with them with a video message or a voice message. It creates an instant feeling of trust. Like, don't make a 1 minute long video, make like a 15-second long video. Nobody does that. Like, when was the last time that a business sent you a personalized voice or video message?
As we talk about this and getting personal, which I strong advocate for as well, to build like trust, get into conversation, I could still see some people listening to this, watching this might be like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work. What would you say to that if someone is watching this and is like, whoa, that sounds a lot to manage all these conversations?
It can be a lot of work. In that case, find someone to do it for you. There are actually VA assistants who are trained in the beauty industry out there, and they know how to respond to messages. They know how to get the bookings, and you can train them on your own systems and all of that. But that's in the case of like, you're busy, you don't have time. A lot of people are unfortunately in the position where they're not busy and they do have the luxury of time. Trust the process that it does work, and the time that you put in to responding to messages very thoughtfully and creating a sales system will pay off.
One of the features as well of Mangomint, which is called two-way texting, which is basically like a system that allows you to have your clients texting you, and you can actually like manage that with one business phone number. And if you have a team, you can have everyone chip in. You can leave comments internally to each other about one conversation, and you can manage some of that as well. So I think the right tech can help when you kind of get personal and when you kind of get into these type of conversations too.
This is great. This personal touch element, super crucial. I think it's a great part of the customer journey. And Stephanie, I love, love, love what you shared today. I hope you watching at home take something away from this too. By all means, like think about the way that you craft these ads in your campaigns. They don't have to be super impersonal. In fact, they should be very personal, which requires a little bit of a personal touch and a little bit of extra effort on your part, but it's not as hard as it seems.
For anyone watching this who kind of want to like learn more, like how can they find you and how can they engage more with the resources that you have?
You can get in touch with me on Instagram at Stephanie Mitchell Marketing. I've got a free class called the 30-Day Waitlist. There's a link to below. And then I also have a program called the Ad Lab. So if you want to check out more about it, you can go to joinadlab.com to get all the details.
Thanks everyone for tuning in today, and we look forward to seeing you here back in another episode of Marketing 100.